Hello, Artful Manifestors. Thank you for joining me for this timeless pick a card tarot reading. To choose your reading, you're going to choose from one of these beautiful crystals or one of the cards I'm about to reveal. And I want you to know that I always align myself to bring you a message for your highest and best good. You'll find a link to all the readings in the description box below, as well as a list of all the cards that I use during this reading. And if I have a link where you can find those, I include those as well. All right, I'm going to introduce these lovely crystals first. For reading number 1, we have Trolleite. And for reading number 2, we have Labradorite. And for reading number 3, we have honey calcite. All right, let's see what the cards are. For reading number 1, this is your image. And for reading number 2, this is your image. And for reading number 3, this is your image. Let your inner wisdom guide you. Whichever image or crystal you're most drawn to is most likely the reading meant for you. Enjoy your reading. Hello, reading number 1. You chose Athena, the goddess of wisdom and rational thought. Athena governs logic, ethics, mathematics, philosophical inquiry, and though she holds a spear and shield, she's a strategic warrior. She's actually seeking to find peace. She's not using brute force or emotional passion to approach situations. She's looking for minimal destruction. She uses calculated defense, diplomacy, and strategy. She's also the patron of craft and weaving. She's the matron of artists, weavers, artisans, not just in textiles, but the pattern of fate, of life itself, and also the patron of civic order and justice. Remember, she was the patron, or is the patron, of Athens, and she competed against Poseidon for this. Poseidon striking the ground to bring forth a spring of water. However, it was salt water. And Athena offered the people the olive tree, a gift of nourishment that could also be used for not only its edible olives, but oil and wood. And so Athens was named for her. So this is a time of expanded wisdom. And if there's a particular situation that is causing you any kind of emotional upheaval. This is a nudge from your guides to call upon your higher wisdom. We see this owl here. It flies above the situation, right? Seeing all angles, looking for the best strategy to move things forward. And interestingly enough, of course, the Trolleite invokes peaceful power. It teaches peaceful strength. It's like a warrior who wins through inner calm. And its energy can help you speak from centered wisdom. It can help you set boundaries with divine neutrality. It can help you to attract allies aligned with your soul frequency. And it enhances intuition, dreams, lucid dreaming. It strengthens your connection with your guides, and it helps you to interpret subtle energies with greater clarity. You know, Athena is a little bit like the Queen of Swords. Her weapon is for clarity as opposed to battle. Although she is also a warrior. Not purely intellect, but again, it's based on strategy. All right, let's get some tarot cards and see if we can find out more about how to approach this specific situation, or just in general, how to approach life with more clarity, more strategy, how to attract allies aligned with your higher purpose. The Trolleite is connected to the third eye chakra and the soul star chakra. So it's just like this owl, this wisdom rising above. 5 of Wands, there's that situation or energy in your life that's bringing up that fiery passion that you're being nudged to approach in a different way. And I'm hearing that it may not always be with others. It might be with inanimate objects. I know it sounds silly, but you know, someone stubs their toe and it causes this emotional flare-up that then you take out on the couch or whatever you stubbed your toe on. And sometimes it's within yourself, being upset with yourself for a perceived failure or misstep. Ace of Cups, there to quench the fire, quenching that fire within eternally. It forever overflows. Oh, that card just flew out. The Queen of Cups. All right, I was expecting to see a queen, and here we have the Queen of Cups. Very interesting. Let me move this just a bit. There we go. The Five of Wands is you're either stepping into or you're already in a space of conflict, competition, chaos. And it's not meant to be a war. This is, if you look closely, it's a sparring. They're practicing. It's what this represents is misaligned energies, competing desires, or internal unrest. Think of it as a tuning fork moment where you are learning what doesn't align in order to clarify what does. So the strategy here is to step back before stepping in. Observe the patterns of conflict. Are they internal? Like, criticizing yourself, being mad at yourself for a perceived misstep. Or for waking up late. I see somebody angry for, waking up late, and they carry that energy with them all the way to work or school. Or is it external? Or energetic projections? So again, you're being called to detach from this drama and rise above it, not to entangle with it, but instead discern who or what feeds your fire versus who steadies your flame. Name the why behind your involvement. When purpose leads, confusion fades. And when we are too emotional, we literally can't think straight. So again, this is either a specific situation or it's just kind of an energy that's been hanging around in your life that you're ready to release. And the Ace of Cups is the magnetic heart. It's your soul frequency. All right. Your soul frequency isn't anger or criticism. It's love that flows from clarity and truth. The Ace of Cups is pure potential for connection, creativity, and spiritual alignment. It's not something you must chase. It's something you radiate when you are in your center. And when you anchor into your authentic joy, compassion, and vulnerability, you can attract like-minded, like frequency allies and individuals that align with your soul frequency. Let your heart speak first. Allies aligned with your soul frequency feel your essence. They are not looking for status, performance, or perfection. Create or tend to spaces where emotion is honored like a sacred spring. You will call those who thirst for what you offer. It's, I said it was interesting because we start out with Athena, who I just said was very much like the Queen of Swords, and then here we have the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So here we have logic and wisdom and strategy, and here we have what seems like emotions, which I'm, channeling to quell. But it's not that you want to quell all of your emotions like a Vulcan. You're tempering this passion, this fire, whether it's internal or external or both, with the emotion, the frequency of your soul, which is love. So this is all about love, self-love, love for life, love for others, love for the connection. They're showing me somebody turning the dial. It's like you're just tuned into the wrong channel right now. And it's just, if you wake up late and then you stub your toe and then you get in traffic, it kind of snowballs these things. And then you walk into wherever you were going, you walk into that space with all of that fiery energy. And even if you're smiling, other people's energy, even if their physical eyes don't see it, their energy is responding to that fiery energy. And so you're being called to, tune into a different channel so that your soul's energy, your soul's frequency, your essence is what's seen. And the Queen of Cups is what this leads to. It's the embodiment of intuitive sovereignty. The Queen of Cups is deeply emotional, but never lost in the emotion. This is mature emotion. This is understanding what your emotions are telling you and being strategic with that information, as opposed to losing yourself to it. She's the sacred mirror, the seer, the nurturer of sacred spaces. She channels the waters of the divine through a chalice of discernment. It's like they're showing me a chalice that's both a chalice and a crystal ball. Look at how the moon, it seems to be hovering just above it. It's intuitive and calm and peaceful. And I'm hearing that for some of you, there's, it could be something like Mercury in retrograde is causing this little wobble in your progress. You feel like you already got past this. And then all of a sudden you're emotional again in a way that you feel like you're tempted to succumb to that emotions. But I think what you're going to notice is that it doesn't have the power over you as it once did. You feel it, you notice it, and you catch it right away. You're like, wait a minute, that's something from the past. That's not my vibe anymore. And it allows you to see your progress, and it's also letting you release that last little bit of something from the past that sometimes can stir up these fiery passions, emotions. Ultimately, you're being led to deeper emotional mastery and intuitive trust. You're becoming this magnetic presence that calls kindred spirits and gentle warriors. You're becoming a wellspring for others without depleting yourself, because your cup is filled first. And you're here, you know, and from here you can assist and help. Reading at number 1, so beautiful. I really see this mastery, and you aligning with others that are of your frequency. And I see you being, if there's a specific situation, I see you being that bigger person, taking the higher ground and looking for the common ground to unify and solidify allegiances or allies. So beautiful. Please let me know if this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. Ooh. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading at number 2. You chose Hades, who is not malevolent but misunderstood. He's the shadow keeper in the underworld, where things go to be transformed. And he's the Lord of cycles. You know, there's a story of Hades and Persephone, and you could say this was part of a soul contract. He saw Persephone as a queen and offered her a throne. And because of that, the seasons were brought about. So she's an instrument in the seasons of life, and he is the Lord of cycles. And he holds what you repress or fear, waiting for you to retrieve it with courage and transform it. And he also rules the realm where your lineage speaks to you in dreams. And he's the guardian of soul treasures, your hidden talents, past life memories, spiritual gifts that might be buried under shame or forgetting. And he might show up in your life as a period of solitude, introspection, or even grief. Dreams of passed on loved ones, the underworld, or doorways, a call to work with ancestors, or healing the root chakra, a desire to face inner fears with reverence instead of resistance. And it's so interesting that, you know, he's the Lord of shadows. And here we have Labradorite, which is the stone of aura veil, mystical shimmer between worlds. it doesn't just reflect light, it reveals hidden light. Like a mirror in the dream world, Labradorite shows you what lies beneath the surface of reality and within your soul's potential. So that tells me that you're going through a doorway right now or very soon, and it may initially feel dark, like you're going into the underworld. It might feel scary, but when you come out the other side, when you return from that cycle, you're going to return with a gift. So let's find out more about that. What's taking you into the underworld? What are you learning, and what gift are you returning with? All right, we have the 9 of Wands. The Prince of Wands. And the Ace of Swords. Wow. What a beautiful progression. You know, I mentioned Persephone, and Persephone, like many others, went to the underworld not to be destroyed, but to be initiated. And this is what's happening with you, with your descent. It's an initiation, like ancient Egyptians did. This is a sacred journey. This 9 of Wands is the wounded guardian. You're being pulled down by exhaustion, vigilance, and a wound that has become a gate. The 9 of Wands tells of one who has been fighting for too long, perhaps holding boundaries that were once necessary but have now become walls. So this descent it's sacred. You're being asked to lay down the old armor, stop bracing for the next blow, and feel the cost of always being the strong one. When you're tired of fighting, the earth opens her arms and says, "Come rest with me. Rest within me." The underworld is calling because this inner flame is flickering and it must be rekindled in the darkness. It's just like this Labradorite, finding the light in the darkness through surrender, not resistance. And in this initiation, through this wound that's a portal into the underworld, you're learning and you're reigniting that flame. You're reconnecting with your younger fire, your untamed passion, your forgotten desires, your courageous wild self. You're learning to reclaim inspired action, not reaction. Trusting in movement again as a devotion to those inspirations, and burning with purpose. It's a fire that burns to illuminate, to warm, to cook your meals. It's not a fire of destruction. This is a lesson in transforming fight into fire, anger into alchemy, impulse into initiation. And what you feared would burn you is now becoming your light, your torch. And you're returning from this sacred journey into the underworld with a gift. And what a beautiful gift. Look at this sword. It looks like the sword given to King Arthur from the Lady in the Lake. So you're emerging from the depths, sharpened. The Ace of Swords is a gift. I mean, we're asking what gift you'll receive, and the Ace of Swords literally is a gift. It's the gift of clear seeing and sovereign truth and brave speech. This isn't a truth that's just handed to you. You know, not anybody gets this sword from the Lady in the Lake. This is one forged in your bones, clarified through shadow and honed by fire. You're returning from the depths with a new clarity about who you are and what must be said. A soul-cutting insight that severs illusions and falsehood. You're not speaking to be right. You're not defensive. You're not defending. You're speaking to be real. You're revealing with confidence and clarity. And I see you being able to walk between realms. It's like the first time you take this journey, it's scary because you don't know what to expect and you've never been there before, and it's kind of just falls upon you. It's not a journey that you plan for. It just kind of happens. But it was an initiation, and now you're able to walk between worlds. And you have a greater understanding of yourself and others, the world, energy, the cosmos. You're letting go of the old way of thinking and believing and being, and you're reborn, you're re-emerging with a new truth. Reading number 2. So excited for you. This just feels so mystical and magical. And I really do see this leveling up of your intuitive gifts so that you can connect to these multidimensional realms, channel higher guidance, communicate more easily and more clearly with spirit guides and ancestors, and making soul-aligned decisions, honoring your own mystical nature, even if it's a spiritual path that you walk that maybe not all understand, and that's okay. They need to find their own path. This is the way of mysticism. So beautiful. Reading number 2. Please let me know if this resonates. I'd love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 3. You chose Kronos. Interestingly, Father of Hades, card number 2. If you came from that reading, let me know. Kronos is also the son of Gaia. And though he's often seen as a villain, Kronos is also a necessary ending. He brings the sickle of harvest, the force that cuts away stagnation, and his fall gives rise to renewal. So he might present in your life when an old identity is being released, or a generational pattern is ready to be broken, or you are fearing a change that's meant to happen. It's all about change and time as a teacher. And the crystal you chose, honey calcite, can assist with this transformation, this transition, so that you can go through it with confidence. It stabilizes you during change, especially if you're stepping into a leadership role, a new creative path, public visibility, self-expression. It helps you stay grounded while moving forward, radiant and centered. And it dissolves fear and self-doubt, any kind of inherited shame or scarcity programming, fear of visibility or success, or confusion around your worthiness. It empowers your willpower with grace and links your intuition with action. So I see a change happening that's for your highest and best good. And you may have been feeling some resistance to this change, or it may feel like an upheaval. And for many of you, that change has already kind of reared its head, and now you're left with the aftermath. But for some of you, it may be that it hasn't happened yet. So lucky that you're here, so you know when it does happen that it's ultimately leading to something great. So let's find out more about that. What is this change? Reading number 3 is experiencing. And what are you releasing and what are you gaining? 3 of Pentacles. Four of Swords. Ten of Swords. This feels like a like a big sigh of relief. If somebody's worried about something, I want you to take that big sigh of relief and help facilitate to bring that energy into your life sooner, because you are going to experience that relief. The Three of Pentacles, it's such an interesting version of it, because many times we see three people doing something together, but here we see three people watching this guy. It's kind of like an overdoer, an overbuilder, the seeker of approval. Excuse me. So this is the part of you who builds for others, who collaborates beautifully, but often suppresses your own vision in service of structure, expectation, or contribution. It may be, I keep hearing the word performance. It may be seeking validation through productivity. And it's like a belief, something that was instilled into you. And it may be over reliance on external feedback or roles. So it's like, as long as everybody keeps saying, thank you, good job, you're doing great, you keep doing it, even though you might not like what you're doing. So this guy might secretly want to be a dancer, and maybe even if he liked carving stone initially, no longer wants to do that. Excuse me. And it could be also, aligning yourself with other people's dreams instead of your own. So you're releasing the need to be a pillar in someone else's Colosseum. You're stepping back from the compulsion to shape yourself around systems, teams, or constructs that no longer feel nourishing or inspired. I see somebody working for a large corporation, and you feel like you're this widget maker, and you might be the best widget maker. You get all these awards by the company, but you're seeing this bigger picture, how your life can be so much more, and you're building someone else's dream, and you want to build your own. So this is what you're releasing. And what it's making space for is sacred stillness and soul recovery. This is a space where this old identity, once buzzed with activity, and this silence now blooms. This card invites healing, integration, and spiritual rest. Not sleep, but a sacred pause. A laying down of the mental armor. They're showing me somebody who's maybe the company gets bought by another company, and so many times when this happens, they will let a large number of employees go, and with it give them a severance package. And even, saying severance and seeing this sickle. Now, this isn't for everyone, but this is coming through very clearly. And I see someone taking that severance package, it might be like 6 months' pay or something, and taking just a little time off to kind of figure out what you want to do next, because you don't want to repeat the same cycle and go and build this pillar for somebody else's Colosseum. You've already done that. Excuse me, I know that's very specific, but that was coming through really clearly. So it's not going to be exactly like that for everyone, but it's definitely a pause, um, a retreat from the noise, from comparison. Listen inwardly before acting outwardly. It's just a time to, for some of you, it's a smaller cycle. It's a whole energy of something happens and you have this ability to kind of detach in that moment and take this little pause and strategize what your best words are or best move is in that moment. And you're letting your soul rearrange itself without rushing to explain it. I see some people, even somebody says something and in the past you might have immediately reacted with, some words back, kind of mirroring back their energy. And instead, you are a pillar that's able to stand there quietly and see that person for who they are and not get pulled into anything and just allow your silence to speak. So this is a soul cocoon moment. You are gestating. This is a period of gestation so that you can become that new life, right? It's the ending of one regime for the rise of something totally new. And the Ten of Swords is that ending, right? It's that sacred end. It's also a liberation of the mind, because while it looks heavy, all right, swords are thoughts, their communication, their words, ideas, intelligence. And when we travel through the different swords in this suit, the Ten of Swords is the end of a cycle. There's definitely something coming to an end here, but it's for your good. It looks heavy, but in truth, this is that last gasp of some old pattern that once helped you survive, but can no longer help you thrive. So you're undergoing a death of self-limiting stories and a release of mental martyrdom, like the idea that you must suffer for the good of the cause or for others. This is the final severing of energetic ties that no longer honor your becoming. This is the threshold of resurrection. Your back is to the past. A new dawn rises in the distance. And with all the swords laid down, your soul is free to move without carrying old wounds. I feel like maybe one more card. We're just going to get whatever's at the bottom of the deck. Look at that. Ace of Wands. Yes. There's definitely something coming to an end. It's leading to something wonderful. The Ace of Wands. And remember, I told you at the beginning of this reading that I felt like that relief, that breath, right? Where you just, this big exhale. This is the inhale that follows. This is that divine breath at the end of the tunnel. It's like striking a match in the dark. It is the soul saying, now you've released and now you're ready to ignite. This is the resurrection after the ending. So this confirms that the ending, this release, whatever's unraveling of the old self, whatever you're let going of, it's creating space for something entirely new. This isn't a continuation, this is creation. Wands are all about creation, and this is the Ace of Wands. This is a gift. And it's bringing a surge of inspired energy, creative vitality, spiritual momentum. It's a new vision, purpose, or calling awakening inside you. It's an invitation to begin not as who you were, but as who you've become. You're wiser now. You have lived experience, and you know who you are. There's this clarity and passion awakening. This wand is the first spark of a new fire. It doesn't tell you where it will lead. It simply says, follow. You know, this is rising from the ashes and claiming the flame of becoming. You're releasing the weight. You're returning to stillness. You're rising not from memory, but mystery. And now you carry the flame of divine creation within you. And there are roosters crowing outside and puppies barking inside. So I think that is the end of this reading. Reading number 3. Please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I am wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye.